So yesterday I made this video and I talked about, as a BJJ black belt, these are workouts that I basically wouldn't recommend and I don't do. So they were like CrossFit, they were like kettlebell circuits and complexes, those guys that do these body weight jiu-jitsu like moves and they turn it into like a hit circuit, guys who kind of try to do these jiu-jitsu moves but they do it with bands and maybe weights and stuff like that. All horrible ideas. So today I'm going to go over like how I think you should train. And if you're interested in hearing my take on why I hate those workouts, just let me know in the comments and I'll actually, maybe I'll make a video. But if you're looking for help with your strength and condition for jiu-jitsu, if you go to the description, I have a few links. There are 3 main ways to help people. I coach people one-on-one online, or you can join one of my group training programs I have there. So let's get into the video. To me, the reason why I don't like those workouts is because we need a body to adapt, and we want to adapt in a certain way. So we want to get stronger, we want to get more fast and more explosive, maybe we want to build some muscle, we want to improve our conditioning, but we also want a body to adapt. We want our bones to get stronger, our ligaments to get stronger, obviously our muscles to get stronger so we can handle the stress. Jiu-jitsu is literally like this hobby or this sport, martial art, where we're simulating like breaking each other's limbs and choking each other. So we want a rugged body that can handle that stuff. So the base of this is always going to be strength, because strength actually is the one modality that will increase all physical qualities. It's going to help with your conditioning, obviously help with your strength. It's going to help you build muscle. It's going to lay the groundwork for being more explosive. It can even help with mobility when you're training through a full range of motion. So what you want to do is focus mainly on the compound movements. So we want some type of squat pattern, some type of hip hinge pattern like a deadlift, some type of upper push pattern, some type of upper pull pattern. And we want to at least hit those movements twice a week. And now I think so your body's not so fatigued and sore. I think for most people, doing those in like 2 or 3 full body workouts per week is great. And then if you have time at the end, this is when you might add the extra stuff, so accessory stuff. So maybe areas that you want to develop, areas that are weak. So maybe that's like your core. So some guys hurt their hip flexors, so maybe you want to work in your core more. Maybe you want to work on your lower back is weak. Maybe you need to work on your shoulders and your arms, because that's kind of a weak spot. And you want those to be, especially like elbow joint, like having strong bicep, like having strong elbow flexors and elbow extenders, like bicep curls, tricep extensions, can really save your elbows. But the main thing is make sure we focus on those compound exercises. Another thing that's very beneficial is to add some power work before we do the compound movement. So if we think about what a workout would look like, it would be power, so maybe some plyometrics that we can tolerate, some medicine ball throws, and then we hit those like 3 or 4 compound movements, and at the end, we might hit some accessory work. Now, if you're trying to improve your condition, you can also replace that accessory work, and maybe you're actually going to focus on some conditioning, maybe some aerobic training, some like glycolytic training, so basically like intervals. So now that we have like a basic structure of a workout and what kind of exercises we should do, here are some finer program details that people don't think of. And a lot of times people think of exercise and form as the most important things with like a program, but there's a few other things that are pretty important. So we want to pick exercises that we can execute properly and that don't hurt us. And yeah, we want to have decent form, but we don't need perfect form. So let's start with reps. So reps are somewhat important. So I like to keep it between 5 to 10 reps. A few reasons here. It's easier to keep decent form when the reps are lower like that. It's hard especially when you're going hard, it's hard to maintain good form when you're doing like 15 reps. Plus, there's less fatigue at the lower rep range, but at the lower rep range, you're still able to build strength and muscle and protect you and strengthen your joints and stuff like that. So you kind of get the same benefits, but without the fatigue. So you're better off just keeping it at a lower rep range. And then if we talk about sets, we don't need to do the traditional 3 sets. You can get, especially if you're a beginner, you can get great results by doing 1 to 2 sets. Almost anything you do as a beginner, as long as you're not hurting yourself, you're going to start to see progress. So like you might just do 1 or 2 sets, and you can always build up from this. But especially if you're having trouble with like fatigue management, you're sore, I would go on the lower end for the sets. Then if we talk about how many exercises you do, you don't need to do a ton of exercises, especially if you do jiu-jitsu. A few exercises go a long way. So trying to keep your exercises between 3 or 5 exercises can be really helpful and help you really manage overall fatigue. The next thing that people don't think about is rest period. When you take longer rest periods, you can go harder into your sets, which I'm going to go over what a hard set is in a little bit. And that's going to allow you to perform better. Plus, you're not accumulating all this fatigue. So again, you're still going to get the benefits of getting strong, becoming explosive, protecting your joints, but without building fatigue that's going to make you sore and maybe negatively affect your jiu-jitsu. So I recommend trying to go 2 or 3 minutes in between working sets. So the last thing I want to go over, what do we define as a working set? So a working set is a set that has a certain amount of intensity to a change in our bodies. Like, I like to use reps in reserve. So that would be like if you're doing like a set of 5 with anything, how many reps could you have gotten after your set? So say you're doing 100 pounds. And you're like, okay, I get 5 reps, so I could probably got 10 reps if I was going all out. That would be 5 reps in reserve. So usually to get results, we want about between 1 to 5 reps in reserve. So if you're really fresh, maybe you're going to really push it hard and just do 1 to 2 reps in reserve. If you're feeling beat up and fatigued, or you're just starting out, you can train at 3 or 5 reps in reserve and you're still going to see results. So if you follow the structure that I talked about earlier, about the compound movements and the accessory stuff, all that stuff, and these little programming details like optimizing your reps, your sets, your rest periods, you're going to be able to do both, and you're going to get better results. You're going to get stronger. You're going to build muscle. You're going to be more explosive, and you're going to improve your conditioning too, all without creating all this fatigue, which is like a lot of those workouts that I said I didn't like. The reason for that is you don't train hard enough to see any changes, or that the whole goal is to build all this fatigue without really doing anything intense by doing low quality work and not giving enough rest periods, which is one of the reasons why I don't like that.